Now at 6, Starbucks apologizes to a local police department. What a worker is accused of doing that got him arrested.
Drying up. The big consequences just slept on bars and restaurants in our area as the state tries to crack down on large groups of partiers.
And new restrictions, the questions and confusion for travelers as the tri-state quarantine travel list grows to more than half of the U.S. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalie Pasquarello.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. 10 more states were added to the tri-state quarantine travel list today. Minnesota was removed. Travelers now from 31 states must quarantine for 14 days if they visit the tri-state.
And the liquor licenses of 4 bars and restaurants have now been suspended for not reining in crowds. 3 in Queens, another in Suffolk County. And this comes after scenes like this one over the weekend. People partying there in the streets of Astoria. And they're not alone. 410 charges have been brought against businesses violating executive orders by the governor's office. 27 had their licenses suspended.
News 4's Ida Siegel's live in Astoria, Queens now with what happens. Ida.
Chuck and Natalie, we're here on Steinway Street in Astoria, and you know, this is a busy place any time of day, but what happened here on Friday night really shook this neighborhood, and now the axe has fallen on a number of businesses, including this one behind me here, which has been relegated to takeout only. Brick Bar is open for business today, but no longer allowed to serve alcohol. It's punishment for their role in this. The mob scene that turned Steinway Street into a shoulder-to-shoulder maskless festival Friday night.
What's the reason that they lost the license? Because they did something wrong. So there's nothing to feel sorry about it. You know, if you follow up the guidance, you're going to be okay.
Brick is one of 4 New York establishments that lost their liquor license after the governor found out about what happened on Friday.
That is a very serious situation. It means they can't operate. I'm sorry it's come to this, but it's a dangerous situation.
MIA Made in Astoria is also dry as of today, as is Masbeth Pizza House and the Secrets Gentlemen's Club in Deer Park, Long Island. According to sources, club dancers did illegal lap dances without masks, and the owner was caught on video buying drinks for undercover agents and then bragging about getting away with violating the executive orders. Back in Astoria, the owner at Brick said they're trying to follow the rules, but the crowds were overwhelming and they need help.
The whole point of this is to try and prevent the spread of COVID, you know, so, but still, it's not fair to ask the business owners to take care of everything.
The governor said he is prepared to revoke more liquor licenses if he has to, and locals here say they're okay with that, especially if restaurants are not following the rules. Reporting live from Astoria, Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
All right, Ida, thank you. And this comes after the state reported just 2 deaths yesterday, neither of those in New York City. That is the lowest number since the start of this pandemic. Of the more than 66,000 tests conducted yesterday, about 1.3% were positive.
And Chuck, with that being said, fears of a second wave hitting the tri-state keep growing, and so does the number of states on that quarantine list. Let's get you up to speed. Take a look. Alaska, Delaware, Indiana, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, Nebraska, Virginia, and Washington State. All COVID hotspots added to this new list. Now, travelers are going to face fines if they don't quarantine on a trip to our area. News 4's Adam Cooperstein live at Newark Airport with how travelers are reacting. What are they telling you, Adam?
Well, here's this. Governor Cuomo's threatened those fines, but we asked his office if anyone's actually been fined. So far, no answer. And that's one of many reasons people here at Newark are questioning how effectively this quarantine is being enforced.
We are adding 10 states. 10 more states are above the quarantine formula.
More than half the country now on the tri-state's quarantine list. Travelers at Newark Airport arriving to this message inside the terminal.
Are expected to voluntarily quarantine for 14 days upon arriving.
They kind of said something once if you're feeling sick, but they never said like you have to quarantine or anything.
None of you guys got a form or anything?
No.
This group returning home after a trip to South Carolina, one of the 31 states considered COVID hotspots by Governor Cuomo.
Our future is in their hands. We may not be unified as a nation the way we should be, but we're going to have national unity in the trajectory of COVID.
But travelers we talk to are skeptical, with enforcement of quarantine essentially the honor system.
It's not like, they have somebody on top of you watching you 24/7. People are going to do what they want at the end of the day.
Others point out that just because you traveled to a state on the list doesn't mean you had high levels of exposure while you were there.
Because we really didn't, we were just with a friend, so we didn't really go much places.
Travelers at Newark are asked to fill out an online survey after they land. While in New York, your airline will likely give you this form to fill out on the plane. That's the form that I got when I flew in from Florida 3 weeks ago. The reason it's blank, I didn't have a pen when we landed. There was nobody there to give you a pen or to collect the form. And people here also asking, as they travel in from some of those states, what about those who drive into the tri-state area? It's another question about a really difficult quarantine plan to enforce. Live at Newark Liberty, Adam Cooperstein, News 4 New York.
And those are good questions. All right.